Oh no, it's a white dot on my thing. It's not actually dirt. Fuck. Oh no, it's just a little thing where I can move the shit.
Move the shit.
Move the shit. I can move the. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean.
No.
Welcome back to the YouTube, guys. Welcome back to the Team Ronin Sidetracked podcast, episode number 11. So we're well and truly into double digits.
Double digits.
So our first double guest last week was our first double digit podcast. So
and I wasn't here.
No, you weren't here. No.
Oh, sorry. Did you say anything about it? Because I'm not seeing it yet.
We basically mugged you off for a bit.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case.
And then that was about it. But now we have no fitting or no Skippy or no Jack, so you'll feel free to mug them off if you want.
Yeah, they're all pricks.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Not elaborate. Or
so Sam and Tom, they're pricks as well.
Who?
Sam and Tom.
Oh, well, I just had to get that in there early, yeah?
Just yeah. Well,
we should have made one of the buttons.
Yeah.
Sam and Tom are pricks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so it's me, Kev, Paul, and our guest. So as you can see, we've added some buttons to the podcast room, courtesy of Mr. Alfie Hunter. So we will be pressing them occasionally throughout the podcast, I think.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, we're not going to press them. Still my favourite.
So childish. So childish.
Love it. So people who haven't maybe have seen the podcast from the beginning, which I don't blame you, it's fine. Our very first guest was Alfie, and that was back when we had no idea what we were going to do. So there was no real structure to the podcast. So Alfie's wanted to come back to discuss some of the stuff that we've been talking about, really.
That and the fact that we didn't really talk about much other than what I'd been up to leading up to that date, and then what I was going to do afterwards.
Which, watching it back, to be fair, I realise is a really boring platform for podcasts. Because no offence, but who cares?
Yeah.
So, like, rather talk about things that are going on, not the fact that you've moved to Devon. Like,
No one cares.
No one cares. No shit. I was listening to it and I was like, what?
Bullshit.
I was like, I'm meant to be his friend and I don't care. So why would anyone else care? Like, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So do you want to start us off with some topics you want to bring up, talk about?
So I did write a few topics down. Depends on what order you want to go in, so I'll read them out. So I've
Just start with one, then we'll go from there.
We'll leave this one. We'll go to this one. We'll go pet hates of whilst you're drifting.
Whilst you're drifting, so
Yeah, so-
elaborate. What do you mean by while you're drifting?
I think this is more reference to if you're the chase driver. What's the pet hate of the driver in front of you that they may or may not do that might aggravate you a little bit as a driver?
So you asking us a question, or you wanna tell us about it?
No, I've got my sort of ideas, but I want to open it out.
Okay, I mean, it's quite an obvious one. Is when they're trying to force a spin because, say, for example, they're leading
so
after
you're
a chase.
into competition then.
Huh.
So I mean, there's two different sides to it. You could have like on a normal drift day, or you could have in competition.
I could go for both, really.
Yeah.
Annoying stuff, but I mean, you could be following Kev, who just says, "I don't know how to drift anymore," over rotates and nearly creates a pile up. You know, or throws a wheel at you.
I was behind you when the wheel fell off.
I caught up with you though, didn't I?
Well, I wasn't going. I only had 3 wheels. Oh, well done, you caught. I was just like saying, "Oh, mate, I outran you." Yeah, but he's only got 1 leg, Paul.
He had only 3 knuckles in his car. He got out of the way.
No, but it was still attached. The wheel was attached.
It was still attached.
Still attached.
It was still attached. Yeah, agreed.
So shut up.
Okay.
A really shallow line. Because only because
This is in like a demo scenario.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do a shallow line in comp because you'll be
It does
offline.
happen. Yeah,
It does happen,
It does.
you'll be
And
offline.
that brings you to the whole comp thing of, which we've touched a little bit on. I can't believe I'm going to mention his name. Not even 5 minutes in.
Should we just call it say initials?
What? MS.
Yeah.
So as we brought up with Matt Smith about what are you meant to do when you're chasing a lead driver who's miles off of the clipping point? Are you meant to hit the clipping points or mimic that? But when a lead driver is hitting a line that's very shallow, is nowhere for you to go, and it's kind of annoying because everyone loves to watch a chase run when you're close and stuff, but you can't do that unless the lead driver's very good. So lead drivers sometimes are a bit understated. So a lot of time when you see a good lead and chase, it's because both drivers are doing really well. You can't just have a really good chase driver and the lead driver be rubbish. It doesn't work.
That's like a massive focal point in FD and DMEC this year, especially. And then if you looked at the last round of DMEC, they penalised the shit out of lead drivers if they weren't right where they needed to be the whole time. Because you could have had the chase run of the day, stuck it to Matey's door, and he would have done the 100-point qualifying run, and you go out and gap the guy afterwards and do the shittest or not as good as lead line.
All the C runs.
Yeah, basically C line. Yeah. And you lose the battle because, again, it's two halves to a battle. So you've got to do as good in one half as you do in the other.
It's always easy to make it look better in chase position. You know this. Like, you think about it. Like, technically as well, let's say, someone comes through the middle of the track instead of, if they go through the middle of the track, but you're set up ready for it because you can see it, this is technically a shorter gap to close, so you can close that gap. But if they're wider, they're leaving a door open, which again leaves you more room. But if they're tight, there's nowhere to go. It looks rubbish on both parts because you can't get in, so you end up straightening, and they're just still skidding. And so it's just, when it's unpredictable and hard to chase. It doesn't really annoy me. Nothing really annoys me. It's a shame.
Just is what it is, isn't it? That's how I see it. It is what it is.
I don't think for me that's that. Like, I don't really have a massive negative on it. Like, whereas it was, matey's done this, matey's done that. It's not like that, is it? It just is what it is. You make the best of the best situation. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, isn't it? But then that's probably a bit of a downfall for me for always driving with you. Is I'm so used to your
massive downfall.
Yeah,
I struggled to chase Alfie at Autofest.
I struggled
because I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, I mean, it was an oval, though, wasn't
it?
Go, bro.
I was learning. You guys have been there. How many years have you guys been driving there?
All of them.
Yeah, that was my first time driving there. I was trying to figure it out.
I found chasing pools like putting on all pair of slippers and you could put on a real simple show. And let's be honest, that's all we're doing, showboating.
Yeah.
Chasing you, I found you a lot shallower and your car was at such a weird angle to what I was used to.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost like you were power sliding, whereas he's full on sideways, like left foot brake, and just hit the limiter and like, oh, look at us, we're fantastic. Like, and we're just showing off. Whereas you, I was like, I've no idea where you are and when you are going to transition.
There was a couple where I could see you were there because I got sent, Toby sent me a whole 12-minute single clip of just us from that day. I love you, Toby. Thank you for sending me that clip. I wish you'd sent it in segments because it was absolutely hard work to try and cut out. But there were like a number of times where I was chasing someone and I don't know, I just couldn't figure out that track. I feel like
it looked a little bit like you struggled there.
The thing is, in my head I was like, maybe I should be up a gear, maybe I should have done this. The thing is, it was wet in the morning. I'm just making excuses now, but there was times where you were chasing me and I was chasing someone else and I could see you were backing off because you could see I was backing off, or that you couldn't figure out where I was going to transition.
It was definitely harder to chase you when you were chasing someone else, but when we were in like 3-4 cars and I was at the back, because it was you, like, it was kind of like, it's fine, kind of, yeah. I don't know, yeah, but it is what it is. It is like that sometimes. I think that's the difference between a bit of experience as well. It's like, when you can see it's not quite right, especially on a day like that, you just back off. What have you got to prove? You've got nothing. Whereas, like, some people...
I mean, we still crashed into each other twice.
We do all the fucking time. All the time.
I wouldn't really call that crashing. I mean, you clipped my wheel.
And then I DB'd and you caved my rear end.
But I was nowhere I could go. I drove up your quarter panel, so I mean... Again, that wasn't actually my fault, really. Your car cut out mid-corner. I mean, how can you predict that?
Loads of things happened in that one instance. It was a case of I entered, the car was absolutely fine. As soon as I put my foot straight back on the accelerator, it went, and it pulled me in, and then it ripped the tyre off, because you come and sorted the bumper out afterwards and didn't realise I'd ripped my tyre off.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then as I cut in, because I heard rim on concrete, cut in, and then I just heard a massive bang, and it was just you going
again, that was because you were midline, and so I was in that pocket, and by the time I realised that you were going straight to the middle, there's absolutely nowhere I could go, so I just hydro to try and stop hitting you, and literally, I couldn't have done anything else, like, but I didn't know you DB'd it. Like, if you hadn't DB'd it, it would have been fine. Like,
yeah, I would have carried on.
Yeah, but so that. Anything to add?
I got couple simple ones on just normal drift days, but also it can apply in a sense of in the competition realm. But palm handbrake drag entries. So you know the ones on a full straight line.
Not really.
So if you're going in a straight line
Mm.
and you're going into a corner and someone is absolutely gunning it and you're there and then they just go like that, not even a flick, just a straight line, and hold the handbrake and palm it in and then get back on power.
That noise, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but
it
it's
just annoys you.
You don't expect it because you expect everyone, in a sense, to either feint or do a flick or something like that. But it's when they just drag a whole leg. They get all that speed, and you're there going, right, I'm here.
What, so you mean when it's in a dead straight line?
Yeah.
So don't, like, if you come down and then you like flick towards it and then hydro out, you don't mind that. But if it's in a dead straight line and just pull it,
Yeah, because then they'll go. It won't even be a flick. They'll just palm the car in.
Ignore the palm pop because
Yeah.
I can do it without the steering. It just do its own thing anyway.
Yeah.
But you're talking about high speed and describing all that speed in the last second. That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than keeping the momentum by flicking into it.
Yeah.
That annoys you basically.
And then another one is if you're the chase driver, one thing that throws me right off, but it's also bad practice for a chase, or for a lead driver, sorry, is for them to look back at you.
oh yeah.
That really.
But I think that's a very much a beginner thing that you do. As a gentleman. When you're a lead driver, you panic, or you don't panic. You look where they are. As soon as you look where they are, you spin.
Yeah.
If you're not looking where you're going, that's all.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where they are. That's the
I
thing
don't even look back.
Never.
Now, I never look back. I know he's there, and to be fair, 9 times out of 10, I'm still looking in my direction. I can see a car in the corner of my eye,
Or is it my
the
mirror?
mirrors.
Yeah.
Or the mirrors is a good one. But I never ever look back,
No.
unless I'm piss taken around an airfield type of thing. You know, when you're actually like,
If you've got the room, yeah. But it's also like if there's some instances where you can look back because you know either you've got really good muscle memory of the track or something like that, or you've got the room, or you're just wondering where the fuck is that person? Like, are they even there? Because you're just swooping around, whatever. But as a chase driver, it really makes me back off for that moment because I don't know what they're doing. Because again, they don't know what they're doing. They're looking at me. They're not looking at where they're going.
And to be fair, at Autofest when you lost your wheel, I didn't know you'd lost your wheel until I'd come round on you. And it was at that point I'm like, oh, he's not actually behind me anymore. That's how much I don't pay attention because you're just gonna fuck up, aren't you?
Yeah, but even having like Martin and stuff behind you,
That's just scary.
But most of you do it.
Their wastegates are so
You don't look
there, aren't they? Like,
so you've got, like, mine's not exactly the most quiet. So when you're actually in the car and you're trying to drive, you don't really hear it. You just know he's there.
if you're on our driver's door and you're on and off throttle, you can hear your turbo.
Mine? Yeah, mine's pretty loud.
Like catching the blades.
I'm sure you've heard that once or twice.
A couple times.
They just screaming noise, and then that's Jack Watton's fault. All of my car is Jack Watton's fault. Do you remember Jack Watton?
No.
Do you remember Jack Watton?
I have no idea.
Jack Watton won Drift Cup in a yellow M3 E36. Awesome driver, absolutely awesome. Won the whole season. Went to go to do BDC, and he built a 1J or a 2J E36, and it was Nardo grey, but had like the full Pandem kit on it and stuff. And he never really drove it, but he drove it once at Zoyland, and I was like, "Do you want to go out together?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll chase you." And he chased me in this fucking Beamer, and I remember driving around just thinking, "Don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up." And then going around like the big corner, all I could hear was screaming noises, just literally like, and I was like, I need that.
Need that in my life.
And that's it. So you owe me a lot of money, Jack.
You do just next thing. Well, the gate.
There was a few variations, yeah. So I think I did the cheapest, nastiest thing I possibly could, and that was like a standard manifold with a gate welded onto the top and straight out the bonnet, and it was just crap. And then I put a cheap, nasty wastegate with a screamer out the bonnet, and it never hold boost properly. And then I just went, whatever, everything properly. So proper V-band, proper wastegates, everything, and yeah, I mix screaming noises properly and holds boost lovely.
One of the best things I ever done was spend money on wastegates.
I told you at the time, didn't I? It's
Yeah.
just not worth it. It's one of those things that's just really not worth it, because if you can't see this much boost and this much boost,
Yeah.
then it ain't worth
It
it.
go either way, can't it? Because it can either not give you the boost or give you fucking all of it.
Yeah, but your car's not ready for, it's not mapped for that, is it? It's mapped for
Needs to be consistent.
that boost, yeah. And that's the thing I'll say with mine. Like, honestly, when it had the boost gauge in it and it was actually working, it would literally just go 1.3, 1.3, 1.3, 1.3, never went above, never. It was
Mine doesn't.
perfect.
Mine doesn't.
Yeah, because you're running awesome wastegates. Anyway, what were we even talking about?
Sidetracked.
Bullshit.
Well, we can go on to another topic.
Giggling like little girls.
So I'll leave two of these till last because I think they're the most talked about. But I think talking about competition, anyone that's going into competition or maybe has done a year of competition, what is things to take? What is the biggest mistakes that people make going into competition, and things that people should be aware of to take with them to competition?
I really
can't
think any of us can answer
I
that.
can't answer that now
No.
because I'm not a full comp driver. I've done competition here
I'm
and there.
not going to pull
Yeah,
you.
you've done the start, so you know where. Like you've done competitions, even if it's.
Hang on. Sorry about that. We have a noisy person.
Noisy neighbour.
Noisy neighbour. My name's Shane. I have a noisy neighbour.
No, you're wrong. Bullshit.
Well, right.
So I was just saying about mistakes people make going into competitions. So like when you're even starting at.
I can tell you what I did on the very last competition I did, which was a big mistake. Not drive for 2 years, get the car completely remapped, completely repaint it, drive it once, and then change every single thing on it before taking to a competition.
Yeah,
That was a hell of a mistake because it was a car I couldn't drive.
I think that's a mistake that you see in every series from grassroots all the way up to top level, where you see people that have taken a whole car apart, taken everything nut bolt, and put it all back together, put the geo, and then they've done upgrades where they've gone more power, different knuckles, different tyre, everything like that, and they go to the first round expecting it to be sick, and they don't do a single test day. And sometimes it pans out, but sometimes it's like you can see that they're struggling.
I mean, the thing is, I was very rusty anyway because I hadn't driven for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And like I said, did loads to it, didn't I? Give it more power in it. And drove it, and it was fine, wasn't it? I was a bit rusty to start with on the test day and got used to it. It was fine. And then we took it up to yours, didn't we, when you were working at Quick Fit? That bastard. I'm just going to talk over it, keep going, it's fine.
Yeah.
Took it up to yours and completely changed it from something I think I found on Driftworks. So instead of using the setup I had, gave you something completely different. I was like, let's set it to this.
Yeah.
It should be great. And then on the day, you just think it's you. Then you just think, I can't drive it. I can't drive this track. And realistically, a few tweaks, the next time I went to drive it, like minor tweaks, just made it instantly drivable.
Yeah.
And looking back now, a bit more of a level of head, and I probably would have gone, actually, I need to change back. Even by eye would be better than what I've got.
Yeah.
And I think that they would have been very different for me.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake for me.
Yeah. What was the actual question again?
Common mistakes people make going into competition.
Prep, you know. It's mainly prep. Although you can't predict the future, my car broke, didn't it? It drove on the trailer absolutely fine, drove off the trailer absolutely fine, warmed it up in the pits the night before, started up the morning, misfire, had 4 cylinders down. Like, you can't predict that. But, more prep. Nut and bolt checks and things like that is the only way I can go with it because I've not done a lot of competition. I can't comment on the comp side of things. I've not done a lot of it.
What about you? Well, I was going to come up with your side of lack of spares.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can't predict what you do and don't need. But sometimes if you feel that if you've broken something before and you haven't had a chance to upgrade, having an extra one of those things can save the day.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a lot of people that show up with a lot of their stuff set up on the limit, and they don't have the spares for it, like drive shafts and gearboxes and things like that. But then obviously you get to higher competition and the spare list gets bigger and bigger. So you've got like arms.
And the chances of breaking stuff gets higher and higher because more power, more grip.
Yeah.
Everything in it.
Yeah. I think who was it? It was James Dean like 2 years ago on a Drift Games vlog or podcast. I think he said one of the things that people forget to take is a spare front wheel in competition.
Yeah.
It's like the amount of people that will debead and they've got 5 minutes and you're not going to get a tyre beaded back on to the tyre guy and back onto your car when you can just throw a spare front wheel on.
It's very true. And I thought about that. I've never let them take a spare front.
I mean, I've got the spares limit of a couple arms. What's it called? Not steering rack. Inner tie rods,
trap rod ends.
Yeah,
I've got that.
With the stuff,
I've got
drop
that.
shafts.
Yeah,
Couple
a
drop shafts.
little bit of wire, a little bit of hose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like-
that's standard. And
Yeah.
I've got a
Foil
few Jubilee
cooler.
clips.
Boost pipe.
I've got a gearbox, but I only took that to Driftland.
Yeah,
I haven't taken it anywhere else.
that's a long way to go.
If I broke that on the Saturday, I'd be there Saturday night changing the gearbox.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I broke it halfway through Sunday, I ain't changing the gearbox. Yeah.
You're way more motivated now than you were a few years ago.
Why's that?
When he did his clutch in Bath.
We did try and get one though, didn't we? But where was I going to get a clutch from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And plus, as well, I'm not being funny. It wasn't like I travelled to Driftland and it was an awesome track and I was having a great time. It was a pothole little car park.
Yeah,
It was shit.
So I mean,
It was shit.
it just kept beating my car to bits.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really that bothered.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
just
that
hung
was
around.
another
didn't
thing.
you? Yeah.
I did look see if there was anything local, but
sorry, I made you stay anyway.
yeah, you cooked me chips and gave me a beer.
Yeah, you're a simple man.
Beer and chips.
That was probably the highlight of the weekend, wasn't it?
Wasn't even just
Cheesy
chips, cheesy
mate.
chips.
Yeah.
He was like, "What can I like? Are you actually going to go home?" Car was loaded and everything. I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Well, what was I make you food?" And I was like, "Maybe cheesy chips, mate." And I'll stay. And he was like, "Okay." He whipped out an air fryer, didn't he? And cooked me up some cheesy chips. So I was like, "Motherfucker, I better stay now." And we sat in the tent in the rain watching FD, didn't we? I think
FD or D-Row.
Yeah,
Just
fine.
kept giving you cans of
a little
whatever it
cider
was.
or something. Right? I don't drink very often either, so like 1 can of beer and I'm anyone. So, cheesy chips and a beer, phew, you're in. Not anyone wants it, but you're in.
I also think spotters are very important, like really important.
Mhm.
But it's
I guess, yeah.
I found spotters more helpful to me for the little competition I've done, for the relaxation of it, calm down, not get into your own head. When you got a dickhead like that over my earpiece, telling me I'm a prick, singing to me exactly all day when you're like, as you're in quite a long queue and nerves are getting to you because you're very new to competition. That was very helpful.
Do you feel if you went back in to do competition now you still have nerves?
Yeah. I reckon I'd be better with nerves, 100%, but I don't think that'll ever go away. I don't reckon.
I don't think it would.
I reckon it'll ever go away because you're there because you want to be good.
Yeah, no,
And that's
no
when
one's turning
nerves-
up and paying that money to do shit on it. Like,
Exactly. You want to be good, and that's where your nerves are going to come from. You know, that's my point of view anyway.
I feel like I'd be a lot better once I got out in the car and the car worked.
Yeah.
Like once I think
There's confidence in that. Like,
Yeah.
I think like when I turn up to if I go to a competition, and I'll be awful to myself. I won't show anyone else, but I'll be like in my own head about it, really bad.
Yeah.
And I'll be sat on that start line looking. As soon as I pull away and second and third get onto get actually skidding, if everything's working, the car's gripping and it feels right, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely fine. I won't care anymore
Until
because
you
I'll
get
be
to-
having fun.
Until you get your qualifying run.
I don't think I'll care at that point. I genuinely, the more I think about it, like, I don't think I really care that much because I'll be having fun. Whereas
that's
the stressful
my
part
mindset
is
change.
the stressful part is when your car's not working because you're not having fun because you can't drive it properly. If it's not gripping where it's meant to grip, and you touch the throttle and it's starting to want to wash or like over rotate, and you're like, I can't drive this thing. It's no fun.
Yeah.
And that's when you start stressing because you're trying to drive around the problem instead of enjoying the day.
Yeah.
I probably would still. I say that as if I wouldn't, but yeah, you're right. The nerves probably would kick straight back in because then you're starting to think, I need to put this on the right, correct line now.
Yeah.
And being an extremely average at best driver, it doesn't always go to plan, does it? So
I've had a few shit rounds, and
how can you have had a few shit rounds? You've only done 2.
no, I did a whole. I did a couple of, and then I did Battle Royale, and my car. Sorry you didn't hear that. No, but I did Battle Royale at Norfolk Arena, and practice and everything went great. My confidence was high, and as soon as I called on the start line, it went from 4 cylinders to 6 to 8 to 4 to 2, like out of nowhere, and it shit me up, and I did shit. I span out and I embarrassed myself. Then I fast forward for 3 or 4 months and went to Driftland and did Battle Royale again and the Foundation. Was doing great through the practice day, all the way up until 2 hours towards the end, and then my power steering pump shit itself, and I didn't have a spare, and I had to go back to the mechanical power steering pump, but we couldn't bleed it up, and it wasn't bleeding up at all until getting into qualifying for the next day, and we've been through back and adjusted it, and it gets into your head. Did shit in qualifying, and then lost top 32 battle, I think it was. Lost that. Just went home to the hotel. Well, went back to the hotel, absolutely pissed, and just went, I'm just going to drive. I'm just going to drive, and the more times I drive, the better I'm going to feel about it. And I just smashed it all the way through. And I'd taken the mindset of my car's shit, I'm shit, this is all shit, out of my head of it's a bonus if I get to drive again.
Yeah.
I just
It's
looked
kind
at
of
it.
what Matt was saying.
I looked at it as just more seat time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were talking about spotters actually, weren't we? Sidetracked. I think having spotters, like, if you have a good one, you want someone that's not a yes man.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's not gonna say
I'm gonna bullshit you.
Not gonna bullshit you.
Yeah.
They're gonna say
You shit.
yeah. They're not gonna say where you've gone right. They're gonna tell you where you've gone wrong.
Yeah.
But something that I've seen.
But I think you need the best. You need both.
You need
So you're not someone to kiss your ass, but you need someone to go, right, don't change what the fuck you're doing on clip 3 and clip 4 because it's epic, but you need to get out to clip 1 and clip 2 because you're miles off.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a battle. That's what you need. Or if you're chasing someone on your first run, you need to say, like, you weren't close enough here, and here, you need to pull it out your ass. Or you need to go, mate, that sound, keep calm, do your line. Do you know what I mean? You don't want someone who's constantly negative. Because
No. But you want someone that's going to be rude.
You want someone to just tell you, like, you're doing that right, but that needs to be better.
Yeah.
Or, like, you're getting it now, start flowing, push it harder, push it deeper, whatever, don't you?
Have you seen how crazy the role of the spotter is in high level competition?
Oh, I can imagine.
Some of them, like, you can go to, like the smaller days and stuff like that, and you'll see someone, their spotter will go out and they'll watch their runs and they'll come back and feed notes and everything like that. That's great. But when you go to the higher level, these spotters are watching everybody.
Yeah.
Because they know that what they've got to come up against, and they've got notes and diaries and everything written down for the day. It's crazy.
I wasn't planning on having a spotter, I don't know about you.
David might come.
Hey, Carl, it's really shiny.
You're so good. I love you so much.
Oh, there's gold wheels. It's so good on your car.
Kev Spotter. So what do you want on your burger then?
Oh, fuck yeah. That's all I care
Cheesy
about.
chips. I said cheesy chips.
He's getting pizza.
If you get across that line quick enough, what? Your food's ready.
Kev's not doing his second qualifying run. He's gone for a burger.
Kev's not green enough to find out if he's won his burger's getting gold.
Yeah.
Also, what I learned is
No one likes you.
Huh?
What?
Bullshit.
What I learned is you learn more in competition from the chase lane than you do the lead lane. So if you're going out for the lead line and trying to perfect the lead line, you'll only get so far. But if you follow another driver who you have confidence in, you know they're on the line.
I think that's just the whole. If you're driving with better people, you will get better.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That's why I like comp, because you have confidence in the other person. Over just a normal.
Did you learn that from the 2 competitions you did? Did you?
No, I did 5.
3.
5.
Bullshit. No, you're wrong.
No, I learned a lot through it, through the process. But I only did it just to prove some idiots wrong, and I'm looking at trying and come back next year and do something
I mean, come back from what? You weren't ever anywhere. In the
He's making a
first
comeback.
place.
I was no, I did they did one competition last year. I should just stick that back into my car at this point.
Just put it on the wall.
Put it on my door so you can hit it.
Go on.
Do you want to do? I've got a couple more. Do you want to do unpopular opinion, or do you want to see what would you like to see come back to UK Con?
I don't have any new unpopular opinions. And do you know what? I want to retract my rotary one.
I was going to say something to you about this because
I've heard nothing but epic sounding rotaries on the other for the last month. I want to retract it. I take it back.
I was going to say to you, I agree to an extent.
I think so. I'm going to explain a little bit of where that comment came from. So I was having a very bad day, and there was a rotary on full chat making all sorts of hellish noises. And when you're trying to talk to someone about a problem that you're having with something and you can't hear, so you can hear as a rotary, and it was hurting my ears, that's where that comment came from. But actually stepping away from that in a better mood and listening to it and actually going, think about what you've just said. And I'm like, actually, and then listening to more and more, I'm like, oh no, they do sound pretty sick. Actually, I think it was just at that moment with that particular one making that particular noise.
There's a few where, I mean, you can get it with a lot of turbo powered cars, and you can go, that map is shit. And then when you watch the Mr. Rotary King, fucking Mad Mike Ledette, and you watch him with his 4-rotor turbo go around DMAC, and you watch his YouTube video, the difference between his soft cut limiter and hard cut limiter is night and day, because his soft cut limiter sounds horrific, but his hard cut limiter is literally like an AK-47 going on. It is mental. So I agree.
Some can sound shit, but then I think that's more of a rounded opinion on engines.
Yeah,
because I mean, you have the worst sounding V8 that's ever existed. I mean, like those V8s sound pretty good.
I thought it did until I've chased him.
You should have put that on the button.
We still can. It's not too late.
Should we change the one that says Alfie Hunter to just?
It just sounds so flat. Just there's no change. Like you're literally driving around, transitioning, and it's all just.
That's what I mean. I should have changed up into third and kicked the cunt out of it.
That would have made more sense. Definitely.
To be fair, I was having fielding problems, so it wasn't exactly
it
wasn't going very far in the red line.
No, you're wrong.
I'm taking these buttons home. I'll leave you the Alfie Hunter one.
I don't want that one. Yeah, well, I was on the wrong tyres, mate. What can we say? We've all got excuses, haven't we?
Yeah, we've all got excuses.
I'm pretty sure you had a fucking snap knuckle at one point, and then welded back together at the side of the track, and you still managed to pull fucking plenty of laps without going, oh, I'm having fueling problems.
Yeah. I had gripping problems after that. I couldn't jump on anyone, but I still had fun. Passengers still had fun.
No, yeah, that was still a good day. I guess we all had our problems in the end.
You didn't have any problems.
No, yeah, I think she was alright, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Good old fucking SR, hot lap the hell out of, loves it.
I mean, you needed a break from all the times it's broken before.
Yeah, you say that, but
like eating wheels at crowd and driving up people's quarter panels.
That was your fault.
It actually wasn't though.
Well, how did that happen?
The engine shut off.
Whose engine?
My engine.
Yeah, so it wasn't nothing to do with me.
It was nothing to do with me. I didn't shut it off.
It was your car.
I didn't shut it off.
What do you mean it was your car?
I can't carry on drifting with no engine.
Your car is the one that cut out. What was I meant to do?
It was so stupid as well. The kill switch just went bing. Because I went over. Yeah, the kill switch just decided to turn itself off when I must have gone over a bump really hard. The cable
After that weekend,
they were abused, weren't they? Like the cable was a bit too tight, so I've slackened it a bit now.
My mate had a passenger in his car, and he didn't realise what it was, and just randomly went, like that. Then shut his car off mid.
Why would you touch stuff?
I don't know. Oh mate, you should have seen him. He was gonna kill him.
I bet you don't do that.
He wanted to kick him out in the middle of the track.
To be fair, I would do it to you. If I was
Yeah,
back-
that's good. You do it to be a dick. Not to go, oh, button. And then you end up straightening, going into the wall and writing your car off. Oh, that button makes you crash.
To be fair, you didn't straighten or anything. You just got a S14 driving up the side.
You kept me sideways. I went like that. Went to straighten.
I mean, what can you do in that situation?
Literally nothing. But even I was shocked. And I just looked down at my kill switch because I didn't know what had happened. And then you just look down because I was going to turn it off and turn it back on again and realised it was already off.
I don't know what the fuck happened. By the time I come back down to the ground from getting 3 wheels off the ground, I just seen you just kind of carried on, and I'm like, what the fuck were you doing then? Why did I hit you? And then got to the pits, like, what happened? You're like, oh, it cut out. And I was like, but then you just carried on. You're like, oh, yeah. It's fucking hell. Oh, good times.
All memories.
All memories. Making memories. What was the question?
Unpopular opinion, but then we went off a tangent.
Oh, because I wanted to say about...
I still hate Supras.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we talked about that enough.
Yeah, definitely.
They're meant to be one of the best handling with their suspension setups, but they're just fucking heavy.
Ugly.
There's a guy who drives one in FD.
Boring, isn't it?
There used to be a couple that were in old BBC. No idea what they've done now. They just vanished.
They haven't been around for a while, have they? I think they're like you said, they fetch too much money now to be skidding them.
Yeah, because everyone's taking the Jay-Z's out of them. Same as Aristos. Because they come with a 2 Jay-Z GTE as standard, and everyone just pulled the engines out.
I was talking to this about someone the other day, and they were saying about 2 J's, and I was saying I used to remember you could buy a GS 300 with a 2J in it, non-turbo, 250 quid.
Yeah.
Like literally, you can't even buy a non-turbo 2J for less than £1,000 now. Like mad.
No,
And they need a reboot, but like let's be honest, if you're gonna whack a turbo onto a non-turbo engine, you're gonna take it apart, do the bearings, do the gaskets, put a better head gasket on it. So you're £5 in.
they're the better heads to go for on the Gs because they've got bigger ports and flow and everything's sporty cool. I think they say because I think the 2JZ GT, the inside, the
Just remember you're putting this on the internet.
yeah. I think
So
cylinders.
best not be bullshit.
I think cylinders 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. The ports are closer together.
No, you're wrong.
But yeah, I've been told the GE heads have better flow, so they're way more popular for turboing.
I know nothing about them, so
I just
can't
know
even
they're
comment.
freaking expensive.
I just know the 2J is an amazing engine.
I know it's no SR, is it? Let's be honest.
Thank fuck.
Did you wear a man?
Imagine SR's been in a Supra.
Oh yeah, we're moving, would it?
No, no, it wouldn't.
Ain't got to talk to get them to go anywhere.
Do you know what
Not only are they ugly, now they're slow.
do you know what I remembered the other day? Click.
I don't even know what that is. You have to explain what that is now.
You came and stayed with me for a job interview and then walked away from this job interview telling them to fuck off after 1 day, but walked away with a door.
No, I did a day and a half.
Alright, you did a day and a half, so you finished halfway through the second day and went down to do this.
Yeah.
But then you stole their door clicker.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Lap counter.
lap counter. And then from there on out, every time me and Paul gave you some sort of abuse, you just clicked it.
Only abuse about the SR.
Yeah.
And that was only on one weekend. And it got to 137 or something. I'm going to find that clicker. I'm going to put it on the table somewhere.
And to be fair, you did load your car up on the trailer early that weekend as well.
It's clutch load, wasn't it?
It wasn't just a clutch. You,
Loads of stuff happened to that car.
you put a
It
fucking
was battered.
screw-free fuel tank.
I did that about a year and a half ago. Never been a problem until I turned up to that place, and then it just shake the whole car to bits. Like literally.
It's worse than Autofest.
Oh, way worse. Way worse. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Autofest, you can
Red
dodge it.
tyres.
You can dodge
You can go
everything at
around it.
Autofest. If you pay enough attention, you can dodge everything.
Yeah.
Whereas that, no chance. It just literally battered the car to pieces. Even so, I even ended up. I remember I wound preload onto all 4 corners to try and make the car like softer or whatever to try and lift it up a bit so it wasn't so bad. Just brutal. Brutal.
What's your unpopular opinion?
Demo drivers should be comp drivers or ex-champions or high-level competition drivers.
So that counts you out then?
Definitely counts you out. And you do realise there'd be no demo drivers.
So,
None.
right, okay, let's elaborate on this. So, say again.
So competition. Sorry, demo drivers for high speed tracks. So like for example, like Silverstone or Castle Coombe. I can't really. I'm pretty sure that's it. There might be a couple other places.
So only like really big places like that. You're not talking about like your more local shows where you have demos. Then
You're always gonna have your local heroes at your local shows. I think. Oh, I'm Goodwood as well. There's another one. But I think you should have some like accolades as to that you've been a high level driver or a serious driver at some point in your driving career, or you should be driving at that level or an extra track basically. Because it's to entice drivers to either get into competition and go back.
yeah. But if you're spending that much money on that in that far into it, you probably won't have time to go and do it.
Some people also just don't want to do competition. Like, I didn't want to do competition last year or the year before. I didn't want to.
No, I wasn't.
So does that mean?
But then again, we're not doing the demos that he's talking about.
No, agreed.
We did Coombe, but I mean.
But if we were invited, we would do them.
Yeah.
And we're not getting invited because we're not champions of the world. If you know what I mean.
I think the thing is, I'm not going to name names, but I've spoken to drivers who compete and used to compete, and it used to be a case of that's what like the BDC license used to mean. Like you used to go and be able to drive these big events and advertise competition drifting. If you're just a demo driver, you'll go and do a demo. You'll have people approach you and go, "Oh, where can I see you again? Oh, this time next year."
But how many people at those big things haven't done BDC or done a competition level? Because I'm thinking about, and again, I'm not going to go through names, but I'm just thinking about the last amount of people who've done Coombe. I can probably think about 3 who haven't done competitions but have serious cars and have been driving a hell of a long time.
Yeah, I agree with those. But there's a number of people in the situations where it's a mate of a mate, or
yeah, but I don't. What at Silverstone and Coombe?
in all cases.
But you said you're not talking about little shows.
No, in all like Silverstone, Coombe, Goodwood, everything like that. There's a big
Goodwood I can't comment on because I've never really seen anyone but James Dean and Bagsy go around Goodwood because that's what comes up on.
Yeah.
So I don't know who goes to Goodwood and does the donuts.
But anyway, I think there's just a disconnect because what you want is you want UK competition to build up, be bigger, and build everything else. So it makes the UK, puts it back on the map when it used to be. There used to be lots of different stages to it. But unfortunately not the drivers going there because there's not the incentives to come with it. I even saw posts from people who were driving who actually finished in the top 5 of both Class 1 and Class 2 who are asking, how do I get into these demos? Nobody's replying, nobody's letting me in. And someone.
So you're saying it should be, yeah, but you're talking about that as in
advertise, like working together to advertise UK drifting. You could advertise UK drifting as someone throwing it into a corner, but it doesn't make them the best driver. Whereas you're advertising someone to advertising their skills, their sponsors, and then to advertise the audience to then go to a competition round to bring more people in through the door. To go, I've seen them in action in a calm environment. Now that I want to see them under pressure where they're really throwing it against people. That you'll never see.
I don't know if I agree that'd actually make any difference. I think people aren't going to give a shit if it's competition or if it's just around the car park. People just love drifting. I get where you're coming from, but I'm going to say I think so. Obviously, I know Coombe. I don't know Sweeps who does obviously Silverstone or Missouri or anything. I've heard like he's a real good guy and organises real good stuff. I don't know the guy. I've never met him. If you want to meet him, come on Sweeps. More than happy. But with Garage 500, obviously when they were doing AutoFest and it was a competition, they would take some of the really good drivers who proved themselves over this weekend and let them go to Coombe. So they've done exactly what you said. It's just that they're lucky enough to be in that position where they organise it. And when I say lucky enough, I mean they proved themselves enough to be able to have that track to be able to do that, and they've ran it and done it. And it comes with a lot of stress and a lot of hassle, doesn't it? So I mean, and again, they've all done competition and stuff. So what they've done is they've taken people not so much, let's say, from the highest possible level, but people who've proved that they're hellish good drivers. Your friend Chris.
Yeah.
He's an epic driver. He slays Coombe. Absolutely fucking slays it. I don't think there's any reason why he should not be doing it. His car's so different than a load of other stuff. and he's fucking rapid. He's awesome. I watch those videos and I'm like, fuck, that's sick. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't understand where you're saying like he shouldn't be allowed to do it because he hasn't paid to do Drift League and done well in it.
It's not a case of pay to do well. It's a case of it's an incentive. It's earning your stripes in a sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I feel like he has. He's proved himself as a good driver. So why should he not be allowed to? He's done competition. He's amateur.
I see where you're coming from.
And he's proved that he's good enough. And then he's turned up. What about Kane in his E36? Epic. You watch him at Coombe, mate. Holy shit. Epic. Like, why? But because he doesn't want to go to competition, why can he not? He can probably put on a 10 times better show than, let's say I went and did Drift League for a year and I got into the top 5 just from points because I turned up every round. He's probably still going to put on a better show than me there. So why not? His car's presentable. He's a really good driver. He's getting people going, oh, this is awesome. Car makes the most hellish of noises. Why should he not be allowed to do it, but I can? And then who gets to choose that? Where's the governing body that gets to choose who can and who can't?
It would be the organisers of. I say it's the organisers of the demos coming together with the organisers of the competition because we want everyone to come together and work together.
Yeah, of course.
So we want everything to build up. We want.
I don't think there's a massive disconnect there, though.
But I think there's a lot of
drivers do go.
I think there's a lot of people that are missing or not going to competition because they can go and do a demo day. And then competition in the UK is struggling because they're not filling the seats, or not say it's not filling the seats, they're not getting the numbers because people would just go, don't need to, got competition because I've got demo days coming up, so I go and get my drift fix. Whereas there's people that back in the day that used to go and the feed to go and get a BDC license because that's when it used to mean something, to go and get one, to then, all right, here's my ticket to go on these bigger tracks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but I think I disagree.
I think there's just a big disconnect between the organisers in a sense.
I mean, the fact that there's only, 2 Silverstone demos a year and 4 Castle Coombe maybe, so that's 6 days a year.
I think there's 5 or 6 cost tours.
Yeah, and bearing in mind they're 15 minutes for 4 sessions.
Oh, there's more now, though, isn't there?
Not a massive deal. It's getting better, but it's not like it's a full-blown drift day. I don't think people put everything on the line. Like, oh yeah, I won't go and do anything else because I can go drive Castle Coombe. It's just if you get asked to go, it's cool. That's how I feel about it. I don't feel like it's.
I feel like
people who are there aren't deserved to be there or anything. I don't feel like there's any of that. Well, you can go because you're my mate, but you're not really very good.
No,
I don't feel
there
like
is no drivers there. That
I think it's people who have proved themselves.
Yeah, they're all good drivers, not one that isn't. All good drivers. I don't think.
Well, I'm not saying. I mean, the thing is, if you go to things like Silverstone, Castle Coombe, and stuff like that, it's not for. I've not driven them as such. I've been in the passenger seat, and it's not for the faint-hearted. Like you need to.
I totally agree, but
you need to have some skills and some balls between you,
and that comes down to the person organising it again. If he knows that you can drift, and you've been doing it for a long time, and you know that you can do that, he's not just going to throw someone who's just started drifting into it, is he?
No. I'm not saying that at all, but I feel like there used to be levels to this. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think there ever was.
There used to work your way up into from grassroots to drift cup.
Oh,
to
100%. 100%.
And then once
we talked about that with Matt, didn't we? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I don't know where the demo parts come from.
Because it used to be, if you had a BDC license, it used to be the cream of the crop pro drivers, and there used to be the maybe handful of Pro 2 drivers. They used to get picked to go down and do it, and then obviously there was a huge breakdown with COVID.
When was that?
Like this. This is pre-COVID.
I don't remember that.
It always used to be.
Just remember there used to be demos. Demos was a demo. But I might be wrong.
Even pre-COVID,
I don't think there was ever you had to have this so you could do that.
You look at the local events around Exeter, for example. I remember, like way before pre-COVID, drift demos that way were people that had, like, just people that had nice cars that can drift. You know, they never had BDC licenses. They may have attempted comp once, similar to me.
Yeah.
but they never had BDC licenses. They just put on a really good show, smoky, noisy, door on door, and that's. I got.
So you. Sorry,
Go on.
completely cut in there. No, go on, carry on.
I'm used to it, mate.
No, go on, carry on.
I'll just shut.
Just apologise if the middle of your sentence interrupted.
Yeah, and now I've lost my train of thought. Go on.
Smoky door on door.
Yeah, I don't think it should come down to whether you've done competition or not. I don't agree with that. But like you say, it's an unpopular opinion. That's
But
why
I
you
think
mentioned it.
the way I look at it is, it's an incentive. It's to bring bums back on seats onto the grid.
Yeah, but just because. So if I didn't want to do competition, I'm not, and I just wanted to do demos, I'm not going to go, oh fuck, I'm going to go do competition so I can do demos. To do shit in competition, to
Not be able to do demos.
to not be able to do demos, yeah. Because competition is fucking expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive, and not everyone can afford that.
No, and let's say another thing, right? Let's say then you live in Scotland. You're not going to go and do competitions to be able to go down to Castle Coombe to do one day of a few.
Oh no,
games.
they do it. Nokia.
Yeah.
They got their big boys for Nokia.
Alright, the other way around then as well. If I got asked to do a demo but not kill, and I've actually been to not kill with my mate was racing motorbikes, I know how far away it is. I wouldn't go for a day to do a demo. I wouldn't do it. So it's all relevant. So then what happens? Let's say you've got these top 10 people who you're saying like they've won the championships, ex-champions. Let's say you've got 10 of them, 15 of them. And then what happens when it's 2 days before and then they're all going, oh, actually, I can't turn up because I've used all my tires for the year, so I haven't actually got anything left. Or when my mum's now needs to lift to the airport to go on holiday, so I can't come. And then all of a sudden you've got 3 people turn up. You know how much of a letdown drifters are.
Yeah, I know. But the thing is, again, this is just from talking to other drivers, that used to be their highlight. That used to be...
Maybe I'm wrong then.
That used to be, I could do this, do well in this, and then go and do this because of it. And it used to be an add-on for their sponsors as well, because they could turn around.
Everything's changed for that because
I
of
know.
the whole live stream. Everything's changed. So you what you're talking about now, maybe if that was the case, let's say 8 years ago, it isn't the same anymore.
It's easier to get sponsors if you turn around saying, "I'm doing demos" over doing comp. Because if you're doing comp,
but no one's going to be proven to do a demo because you could do shit in the comp.
Then you
can't see the future. Your car could fucking break and you could be out half a season. Therefore, your sponsors don't see you in any of the demos because you've done shit in a comp.
That could work either way because you could break down for the demos or break down in the comp.
100%, but you still might not get into the demos that you've promised your sponsors.
And how can you promise them if you haven't done the competition? Like as if, let's say, right, so I'm going to be in this because I'm going to do really well, and you come 6th instead of 5th, then how are you not going to do your competition? You're not going to do any of your demo stuff that you promised.
Whereas the drivers we've got for, say, we use AutoTest because we're doing AutoTest.
Yeah.
The drivers we've already arranged for that so far, obviously you being one of them, some of them are Drift League drivers, they already know they're coming, regardless of how they're doing competition. Surely that's down.
Yeah,
and you know they're going to pedal.
Oh, hell yeah. And I agree with, it's great having comp drivers there because their cars are always fantastic. They always look insane, don't they? And they make the best show, don't they? So I totally agree with.
But it's also
competition drivers is best.
It's also for them. A lot of, and like you say, it's expensive to do competition. But say, for instance, you guys go. This is just a hypothetical example here. So say you go and do round 1 and 2. You have great time, you do great. But at that last round, you're like, this is feeling a bit shit, I need to change this. And this is feeling a bit crap, I need to change this. I need to sort all this out. And you're like, it's going to feel weird going into free. But then you've got a demo in the middle. That's free seat time to test everything you want to test as well.
Yes. But how are they going to go do that demo? They haven't won anything there.
Because you're still, like I say, you've done well in 1 and 2.
Oh, okay. So you can do well in 1 and 2 as well.
Yeah.
Like not just a full season.
It's not. Yeah, I'm not talking about a full season.
Right.
I'm talking
Each
about
round.
because you're not doing a full 5 rounds and then going, here's all my demos for the rest
You're
of the year.
just making it so much more complicated.
Bullshit.
Sorry.
Yeah, you haven't.
I haven't sold it.
You
got
haven't,
this
I'm
opinion.
afraid.
You're not
No.
putting forward in the slightest bit of a good argument, and you just kind of give it to me more straight factual. You can only do demos if. You can only do demos if.
Done well in the
No.
competition.
You can only do demos if
Can only do demos then. You're doing well in a competition.
Right, what competition?
Pro 2, Class 2, Class 1 Drift League. So say you're within the top 10, so you can get cherry picked out of there.
Right, so
So
that
that's-
opens up 20 people.
Adds up 20 people.
What happens if they live in Norfolk and they need to come and do a demo down in Devon
Is
and
what
they
it is.
can't do it?
Is what it is.
So then they have no drivers.
They're not
And
20
so does
people.
that only matter from the round before?
No.
So let's say, right, so we don't have anyone booked for Autofest. Okay, let's say we've got no one booked.
Yep.
Well, I've got 20 people now. So the round before Autofest, I go, oh, you're in the top 10. That means Alfie says you're allowed to come and do a demo now. Would you drive from Sunderland down to a little track to do a demo for me, please, and bring all your own tyres? And you haven't got enough tyres and enough fuel. Oh, okay. So you can't come. Oh, you were number 9. So would you? Oh, you can't come. What about you? Oh, right. So I've got no one to come.
Then you go through people who've got accolades. So like ex-champs, people who were finishing top 5 in pro.
And haven't drifted for 5-6 years and probably don't have a car anymore.
Most of them still do. And they're just looking for an excuse.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people that are doing demo drivers are.
If there's any ex-champions out there and you've still got like an 800 horsepower car and you want an excuse to drive, give us a shout. We're more than happy to have your Autofest.
Oh yeah.
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 Because I feel like if someone wanted to drive, they would drive. So I think you're wrong. Okay, carry on. So,
but they are driving. They're driving in demos. They're not. What I'm trying to say is, I want to try and get seats back on the grid, and I want to incentivize.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think what you're saying is you're pushing a more of a negative thing of these people shouldn't be allowed to do it.
It's more of a case of.
I think if you've got really fucking good demo drivers, doesn't matter if they're doing competition or not, you're getting those people who know fuck all about driving, interested in drifting. Doesn't matter what scenario you're in. Doesn't matter if you're in a shit fucking little car park and people are like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Or if you're in the biggest fucking track in the UK and people go, this is the best thing I've ever seen. People ain't going to know the fucking difference between 600 horsepower, 400 horsepower. If you get in the right line, you get in the wrong line. People are going to know fucking nothing. All they're going to do is go, that's sick. I want to see more of it. Competition. They don't give a fuck if you've been in competition. They don't give a fuck if all we've ever done is demos. If it's good and it's fun to watch, they will watch it again. End of. I think you are so far off the mark. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're right, mate.
I don't know. That's my opinion on it. I think
most people watching drifting don't know a lot about drifting. It's just cool.
But that's where I feel like you get the demo. You get a lot of people who just go, oh, the drifting. They ain't got a fucking clue if you're on the right line. What they want to see is someone on someone else's door.
Yeah.
And they want to see you crash. That's what they want.
Yeah, they love that.
That's what they want.
Yeah, if they want to see more crashing, come to a comp then. Where people are pushing further.
But they don't know that. You're not necessarily going to get that because which goes back to what we've talked about with most of the other people is at a comp day, what can be offered to get everyone through the door? So what can there be there for kids to do? What can be the bigger thing?
That's another part to go on. But what I was trying to highlight is that's the way it used to be until the big disconnect between all the organisers that happened throughout COVID. Like there was a big breakdown of, I'm not going to go into all the drama and the spiel, but there was a big disconnect where other championships started and this, that, and the other. And everything all broke down basically.
Yeah.
And then going 10 years into the future, these people who are just doing demos and there's no one going into competition to get better or start taking their driving further or make their car go further because they're only going to have the most basic of cars, they're going to die off because there's nobody building up to.
But I don't think there is that many who are.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I know this sounds. Have you watched and listened to the podcast before this one? So you should know that most of that you just brought up has been discussed quite a lot already, and the fact of yes. The whole point of when we brought it up originally in whatever one it was, the third one, is saying about UK drifting and the competition side of it being more quieter and why. And I don't think it's because people are just pinning it up to do demos. I think it's a lot of some people didn't like the setup of Drift League.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't like it. It was over 2 days.
Yeah.
So that stopped people. There was a disconnect here, there's a disconnect there. You had Drift Pro, you had Drift League, people didn't know where to go. Some people then, obviously, we've had like a bit of a recession which hasn't been announced as a recession. I mean, everything's gone up. It's got harder and harder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people have just stopped drifting.
Yeah.
Like, people are going, I'm not enjoying this anymore, it's costing too much money. The point you're making, I think, is a mute point. Is that right word? Mute? As in or I think it's an invalid point because I don't think there's 50 drivers safeguarding or just purely doing demos who normally would be doing competitions but are going, I don't need to do a competition because I can do a demo. I don't think that's the case. I think if people were going to do demos and competitions, they would. I don't think if they turn around and the people who are doing a lot of demos and they said, you can't do demos now unless you go and do top 5 in Drift League, people are going to go, cool, I'm going to go to Drift League. They'll just go, all right, I'll just go and have fun with my mates on the cheap drift days. I don't think it would make that much difference. I think I can see where you're coming from, and I understand what you're trying to get at. It's nice for people to try and progress, and again, that comes back to the whole. It used to be you go to this level, and then as you improve, your car improves, you go to the next level. Once you prove yourself, and then your car improves, you improve, you go to the next level, you get this, and then you go up and up and up until you get to top in the UK, which was your BDC Pro, and then after that, you're going to DBAC. That's how it used to be. It isn't like that anymore. But the demo side of it, I don't agree with makes really that much difference. I don't, like I said, if I genuinely thought from like Silverstone, Castle Coup, Autofest, whatever, HP, all of them, there was a load of shit cars turning up and putting on a terrible show, okay, I'd understand where you're coming from. I don't think that's the case.
No.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think you're getting crap drivers turning up and putting a shit show on and doing a disadvantage of drifting.
I'm not saying they're shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, all right. I don't mean it like that. But what I mean is you're almost saying not deserving because you haven't earned it. Well, I kind of disagree with that because they might have I don't know.
They've still put in the time and effort to get where they are. Obviously, they wouldn't be doing it unless they could drive. So they've obviously put in a shitload of seat time. They've spent a lot of money on their car because you're not going to put a shit looking car on a demo, would you?
No,
of course not. Because it's meant to be a show for the public. You've got to remember, it's got to be for the public. That's the whole point of it. So these people have proved themselves. Otherwise, you wouldn't have them there. For example, yourself. You came and drifted at Autofest. Why? Because we know you can do it.
Yeah.
You've proved, and we know that you can do it.
100% without even questioning it. You go, I'll put someone else as well. Like, you put kids, like,
exactly.
Put someone, you passengers straight in without thinking about it.
And you've never even driven that track before.
No.
Yeah, it's just because we had confidence in you.
So so you don't have to be a drift league driver. Like your car looks the part because I painted it.
I was waiting for that.
But just say it. I don't know. Which one is it?
Dragon Auto one. No, I was pointing at Dragon Auto. Pointing at Dragon Auto.
I thought you were pointing at the button as well. No. But yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I think I'd love to see a lot more people go to competition. And me and you talking about this constantly over this whole year about how me and you want to go to Drift League next year. We can do everything we can to try and go.
I think next year Drift League's going to be massive.
Oh, I think
the way
the amount of people
changed. He's listened. He's literally listened to everyone's opinion.
He's taken a big risk as well.
A massive
risk. Did he take a poll? Did I see that right?
I didn't see it.
Or was that for nominating drivers?
Nominated drivers, he's done a poll.
He's put a lot up, and he's listened to everyone, and I feel like
George
has risked a lot of his own money.
Yeah. He's
to make it work.
Yeah. He's asked drivers to put up the posts that you see that get all the comments. He's really thought about it because if he put it like I've seen it where you see an organizer put something up, what can I change? Loads of people go, don't do anything different because they don't want their person to leave. They almost essentially are blowing smoke up their ass. And nothing's going to change. But when you get a driver to do it and they post something that's a little bit controversial, you get a lot of honest opinions. You get a lot of dickheads, but you can wean them out pretty quickly where you get some actual ideas. Charles.
Dickheads.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so he's been really calculated and clever about it, and I rate him for it.
I've got nothing but time for Gordon.
Yeah, he's literally from the way he's changed it from this year to what he's going to next year is what everyone's
wanted.
That's what everyone said wanted from live stream to do it in 2 single days for two separate classes. Yeah, which I think is great for it. I mean,
it's almost like it was like the progression side as well.
Again,
the
class 1. It doesn't. You can't buy into class 1 anymore. No. It is an earned thing, and if you're not performing in class 1, there's going to be a relegation, which I think is great.
Yeah. I think that's a long time coming. There was talked about on so many discussion pages back in the day. relegating drivers. Nobody is ever going to name and shame a driver. It's like a not a done thing. Everyone's earned their right to be there, but sometimes the level. But sometimes the level progresses. Do you know what I mean? And like, if you're not progressing with that level, then you need to go back a level and relearn. That's my opinion on that.
I agree. Yeah. It's almost like I don't really like football, but football, you know, you go up a division, you're shit in that division, you go back down the division.
Yeah.
And
it's more of a chance as well.
Yeah, the levels have changed. So like, if you go back, what was it, 8-10 years ago, maybe less. Like, if you look at, say, it's Class 1, Class 2, it used to be Pro 2. Pro 2, you could show up with a 328 BM Motors comp spec and be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You could barely be competitive in grassroots in that now.
Yeah.
That's the level that's gone up. But then there was still maybe 5-6 years ago that were showing up in Pro 2 in a 328 BMW who would do great in qualifying, but they would just get knocked out in 32. That's where the progression is. But also, I think if you are qualifying, you are proving yourself as a driver. But if you're not getting on that start line for battles, and you're consistently not, then you should definitely get relegated. That's my kind of.
I don't know. I don't think it's an unpopular opinion. I think personally, let's say somehow managed to get into pro, let's say, okay, and then turned up there. It was going every weekend and getting nowhere, and just you're not going to be having fun.
Stressful. It's going to be so stressful.
I think I'd much prefer going back re-honing, relearning, having fun again.
Yeah. That proves you as a humble person and a proper driver, because you're not going to have someone else blowing smoke up your ass going, oh, that was a bullshit call, you should be on that start line, blah blah. You can get them next round, and you can get them next round, you can get them next round. You should be humble enough to go, no, I'm not as good as these guys. I should not be in Class 1, I should be in Class 2. 100%.
Whereas I don't know if that's even an option at the moment. Like, it has been an option to go back.
I'm pretty sure if he said to Gordon, I'm really struggling in Class 1, I'm not having fun, can I go back to Class 2? I'm sure he's not going to say no.
No.
There used to be...
you just have to change tyres at the time, whereas now I don't think that's...
You might not get on with semi-slick.
Yeah. There used to be...
your car might just be shit on semi-slicks because of power and stuff.
Yeah.
It used to be where, obviously, BBC was around for 15 years. I think something like that, maybe less. But if you were out of the driving seat in like pro for like 5 years or more, you were given the option. You were told, do you want to come back into pro, or do you want to earn your way back through Pro 2? Whereas, like, you could be out for 2 years and come back into pro.
I mean, yeah. This is completely kind of off subject.
No, it's a new subject. I like it.
How you're saying about like earning your stripes, as such, you've earned your BDC license, blah blah blah. I also think there was a few people through the years who definitely didn't deserve licenses.
That's
and
where
technicalities got them their licenses.
I agree with that.
100%.
And then I think there was a lot of drivers who were way more consistent, way better, put way more effort, way more time into it, and they didn't get the opportunities.
Yeah,
wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, and some people.
Like that, yeah.
But that's also what caused a huge disconnect, because they were drivers that were poached, who were undeserving.
These weren't even. I'm not even talking about poached drivers. I'm talking about like mechanical failures of other drivers. So you end up in a very good position when you've actually done zero battling, which will actually technically you're allowed to now go and try BDC. Well, now because you've tried it and you qualify, because there's only 30 drivers there, so you qualify 30th. You've now got a BDC license. You can try out to every BDC event you want. Whereas really, you can barely string a lap together. And I have seen it, you know, and I feel right. So what about then matey who turns up a day and there's 60 drivers and he qualifies 33rd, but he's fucking 10 times better than never matey who's already got a license. Yeah. So the disconnect is always been there to a certain degree, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I just thought about that. Just came into my head because I have seen it.
But there's no way of controlling that.
No, of course not. But so that's what I mean.
It just is what it is, isn't it?
The negative side of it is there's also positives. I mean, I think the only way I'd ever get into like, you know, pro class is
fluke. Hopefully the guy spins. Yeah.
Hey, you lose a wheel or something, or win a battle. Like, yeah, sweet.
There's only 20 drivers turn up to the top 32 battle, yeah?
No, only 4.
Again, it's one of those humble moments where you can turn, if you get on the podium and you actually only have one real battle, and like I like to say it is that person won less battles than the other. That makes sense. Like the other person lost because of X, Y, and Z. They didn't beat them. Do you know what I mean? Like you can sit there and go, I fucking made it. I did great. Look at me. Or you can turn around and go, this isn't how I kind of wanted to get here and wanted to win, but I'm going to take bonus time.
Don't know. So
But that is the luck again, isn't it?
Yeah.
I say, in a way, that's bad luck, but also good luck because you put some serious points on the table.
Yeah.
And then it's bad luck. I wouldn't want to get it like that. I would almost not want the trophy. I'd want the points, but I almost not want to stand on a podium and take the trophy because
doesn't feel deserved.
it doesn't feel deserved. It's not deserved, is it?
Not if you don't even get to really battle someone. Like you just kind of like, oh, and I've seen it. Like
You don't know where you
3-4
stand.
battles where someone's won every battle and they haven't really had to drive.
No, they haven't. They've won on paper, but they haven't won.
But then again,
that
I think that
sense.
comes down. That's the whole different thing, isn't it? It's never. It's how often do you realistically see
How the
someone
cards
go and
play, innit?
constantly win? It's
No.
not like Formula One, where you get the same 3 drivers who are always going to be there. You never know whose day it's going to be with drifting.
No.
You could get someone who's come 28th at the round before, come second.
Do you know what? That's
It's just their day.
This part. This is literally the reason I love drifting. It's because you could turn around and go, I really wanted to have that battle. I was looking forward to it, and then something just fucked up, and something messed his car up in the first corner, or he went off, blah blah. And I'm really looking forward to battling that guy. Or someone turns around and goes, I need 5 minutes. Okay, let's all go into the pits because I'm going to help you, and we're going to go out on track and have this battle. I don't care. Like I'm not going to have Byron. I don't
think I'd want to go then.
No. That's what I love. That's what I love about this. Like, if no drifter wants to win that one, but if you go into like circuit racing, and
It's
You're-
very close
you're-
guarded sport. isn't it?
you're
Like
10th
circuit racing.
you're 10th in qualifying because of your qualifying lap, and the first 9 cars in front of you bin it off in the first thing, and you win the whole day. They go, I was the best man for the job. I won it. My car was better than everyone else. I had better skills. This,
I
that,
mean,
and the other.
technically, if everyone else spins it, you probably are the better driver. If 9 people in front of you crash and you don't.
Yeah, but it could be caused by one driver. Everyone,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
know what you're
But
saying,
in drifting, it's you and the other driver, and you are battling it out. There's no one else involved. This is you and them. And I don't want to win through a technicality. I want to win knowing I beat him and his car at their best. And the thing is, even if you don't, and it was a good battle, and people go up to you, that was a fucking sick, that was so close, blah, 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 and you can turn around and go, I learned a lot from that. I know where you can build yourself up and go, I know where to get him next time.
Yeah.
And wish he spanned.
Fuck.
I should have nudged him. I should have helped him in the pits. It would have gone so much better.
Yeah. If he didn't turn up to the start line, it definitely might have won.
Yeah. All I had to do was go over the start line.
I'd probably still fuck that up and stall it or something.
Yeah. Good.
Fuck. That was third.
And your battery's dead, so you can't even start it again.
Someone give me a bump. Nah, you got to get both wheels past the start line. Shit.
I also feel that sort of makes you a better driver, because if you get a golden ticket, essentially it is a golden ticket into the next day, because it used to be, what was it in BDC? Top 4 went through, which is what Class 2's doing, right? Right. So Class 2, Top 4 go through. If you made it into Top 4 of Pro, you had the option of whether to take your Pro license or not.
I thought that was only if you qualify. I thought if you qualify.
What, in
I-
Pro?
I thought
No, you have to get in Top 4.
That's the thing.
That's how you proved yourself. There was a lot of people that took time out and they built up businesses and just drove on the off chance. I can name a few names, but there's people that came through an aced drift cup in a day, then came through and then got into top 4 of Pro 2, and then the next day got into top 4 of Pro, all within 2 weeks.
I can think of someone, and that fucking hellish driver as well.
Charlie.
Who?
Hugh.
No, Charlie. Cute Charlie. I fucking love Charlie. Charlie, you're a legend. When you come on the podcast,
He did it. He did.
Is that,
He did.
I love Charlie.
He did the first round of Drift Cup, and I think he had some problems. So he did the second round and got on the podium. Then he went to Birmingham NEC. That was 2019, and got on the podium in Pro 2. And then I think he finished 4th on the Pro Day, if I remember right. But he aced it.
That's an achievement, that isn't it?
The thing is, Mike Bolton did the same thing when he had his SR S13. He
It was an SR, wasn't it? Actually, what was in Charlie's? That's up.
It's V8 now.
What the
Yeah,
hell
it's that.
has... Well, yeah, but was my water user now
Everything. Nothing.
K20.
J24?
You know,
that's
yeah,
sick.
that car's not a drift car anymore.
Forcing him bad. Yeah, he's going to circuit race it, isn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
That's going to be a hell of a weapon.
But he's seen life, is what I'm going with that.
Have you seen what Mark Brown's doing
Even
with
if
his
he could have a
engine?
sick manifold on it.
Have you seen what Mark Brown's doing with his new practice car?
Yeah, what's he putting in that? I can't
EcoBoost.
remember. That's it, yeah.
Eco, but what? A
Weber.
three-cylinder? Three-cylinder Eco?
No, I think it's a 4-cylinder.
Oh, yeah, that's an ST engine.
Yeah, that's
108 horsepower thing now,
I
something
think
like
he's
that.
putting a turbo on it, though.
Yeah.
Sure, it's turbo.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He's put a bigger
So
turbo.
that-
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
actually a decent engine to be fair now. I thought you were on about a three-cylinder there. I was like,
That would be cool.
Little Daihatsu Shiraz GTTI.
What would be okay? Another tangent. What would be you're not allowed the conventional engine, so you can't have RB, 2J, SR, V8. What would be your engine of choice?
You've just labelled them all.
Okay, other than them.
Other than them,
What engine? I like that.
what, sorry?
Barra.
Barra.
They got such low end torque. 4 litre straight six.
Yeah.
With a big dirt turbo on it. Or an ON606.
Cummins.
Cummins, diesels. I like the
Cummins. Oh, puppy, Cummins. Oh, come inside me.
No, I don't. That was my actual answer. I don't know. That's really hard. A YB.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of money though.
there's a lot of money.
Who was talking about money?
Nah,
You just literally said no 2J because of their names, and now you're fucking talking about money with a YB.
All those that I named, they're all the power plant of choice.
Yeah.
Really, aren't they? Like,
They are, yeah.
They're all as good as each other in their own respect.
I'd go for YB, but it would have to be built because they're not very reliable.
I think I'd rather a CA than a YB.
CA.
That's why it went on the list.
Would you actually?
I really like CA.
I know you do. Baby
I really like the way they sound as well.
Yeah, baby YB.
I know of one that's lasted forever, and that's it. I've just seen the
Yeah, I
bullshit
don't know of one. I don't know of one. But
And that one that's lasted forever is in a rotten car, sat in the
No,
driveway.
oh, actually saying that, I did have that unicorn one for a bit, didn't I? Remember that one? That I bought those two S13s, and one came with that that CA in it, and it was literally factory rebuilt, fresh, clean. Started it, and nothing sounded as good as that.
Yeah.
And like it's still all the standard intercooler on
But
it.
that hadn't been abused, that hadn't been wound up.
No.
So-
I should have definitely taken that out, abused it, and wound it up.
Or broken it and then gone, oh, this is worth nothing now.
Shit, yeah.
£250
Would've been awesome.
pay for it.
Yeah.
I'd have a VR6.
That's good engine, yeah.
I think
So Rob Osborne's putting in his S14.
Was it? What, turbo?
yes. I think because they're a diesel block, aren't they? Essentially,
Are they?
they're meant to be. They were originally a diesel block. I think the only problem is they've got head problems where because the one runner's way longer than the other because of the VR6.
I just know they were wicked.
I
They were
think,
wicked engines in the Golf.
and that they're short as well, so
Yeah.
you could actually stick them quite far back for actually good weight balance.
They're
But
not,
that and a 5-cylinder,
they're not
yeah,
agile
V6
V6,
in as
are
well.
they? The V's so fucking minimal on them.
It's like
Yeah.
I was talking to Tom, my friend Tom.
your
No,
friends.
mechanic Tom.
Yeah.
He's massively into the old Volvo 5-cylinders. Saying about banging one of them in.
Oh, the 850R lumps and stuff, the old
He's
ones.
got like 8 of them. But the only thing about it is I think it'd be a heavy engine. But then I don't know if it is Ali or if it's.
What's that Saab engine that people get a lot?
B205?
Yeah, they're putting them in Vauxhalls and
Cool.
stuff, aren't they?
It is it's the same as a Vauxhall.
People put them in, I've seen a lot of BMs.
Tall engine.
My mate of mine's put one in a Vitara and made that drift car. It's hilarious. It's got, mate, honestly, it's got the worst ratios. It's brilliant. So it's got that engine. It's still got the standard front wheels. So there's some disco biscuit rear wheels. Then it's got an RX-8 gearbox and then the stock rear end. And it's the worst ratios you've ever seen in your life. It's it's
What are those RX-8 boxes like? Because I've heard some people say they're really good, and I've heard a lot of people say they're literal cheese.
I've literally scrapped two.
They're like shit.
they're
No, I've scrapped two, not
Ace
knowing
in-
that they're worth anything.
they're ace in boxes, isn't they?
I thought they were the same internals as an SR box or
Yeah,
something.
no, S15 6-speed and the J160 IS200 boxes, which again cheese.
Yeah,
So the shit.
They're all shit. They all have the same problem.
Right.
So they're shit.
So I'm glad I scrapped them. I'm glad you didn't give me any different information.
Oh no, where $6,000 each.
They're still worth like 250, 300 quid a box.
Yeah, but then it's had to deal with people, innit?
Yeah, I can't be asked for that one.
Throw them away. Cool. Have you got anything else you want to talk about?
Just one more thing. Obviously, we've been talking about UK drifting and comps.
Yeah.
What is some things that you would love to see come back? And now we've spoken about a couple of them.
Get off your mum.
Well, I've got my sort of things. I would like to see more teams. I think having a team and demonstrating, like, even if you guys went in, that would be sick. Because then you've got you guys, then you've got Matt and Martin.
We'll be going in as a team anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
We are a team, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even if only one of us was going, let's say only you can afford to go, I'd still be there. So it'd still be team.
But I mean, it used to be so cool back in the pits. You used to have Team Jap Speed. You used to have who's that one? Those guys up north, Slide Motorsport. Loads of different like actual teams. Like, and you used to have a championship based off on the side of championship standings of team standings. Which used to have so much more camaraderie and used to push people a lot more. And it used to have that level of professionalism alongside it as well. Which I'd love to see come back. So I'd love to see both.
I hope people don't think about us as professionals.
We're just demo drivers. We don't do comps.
We're not allowed to be demo drivers
No,
anymore.
no.
Alfie says that we haven't. Let me go through this again. So we've got
No,
in the top 5 in
let's
class
not
1 or
start.
class 2, but it doesn't matter if you're like in 15th in class 1, even though you're not as good as class 2 people.
And if the top 5 can't make it, you can use the 9th or 10th. And if they
but
can't
only
make
if
it,
they've
you
only
use
been at the
16th.
one before the last
And
one.
if they can't make it, you can use their auntie and uncle. You're just not allowed to use people.
Bullshit.
Shut up. I'd love
Very unpopular opinion. That's probably the worst one yet.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope people will watch this, and
If you've got this far, because even I'm fucking bored.
Abuse me.
I would like to hear these drivers that you spoke to say, no, you're completely wrong, and we agree with Alfie, because I can't see.
Can we have you on?
Yeah.
I won't
just
name
have
names.
people on anyway.
Yeah.
I don't want you to name names.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
But I just I'd like to. I feel like you've worded it very badly.
I have one.
And it's
And
made us hate
I
you.
would like, and I would,
Yeah.
it's made me get my back up maybe a little bit and go, no, I'm not even listening to what you're saying because you're completely wrong. Whereas maybe these people I'd have more respect for than I do you, which is not,
It's not hard.
hard.
It's not hard.
It's not hard.
No.
And maybe they'll be able to say, actually, what Alfie was trying to say is we think this, and I'll go, okay,
Maybe you're a little bit right.
maybe I see what you're saying.
Maybe, yeah.
Or people might just go,
He's talking shit.
as normal Alfie, you're talking complete enough shit.
Yeah. Well,
So
no one likes
please
Alfie.
comment. Please comment.
Bullshit.
Exactly. As far as coming back to competition, full grid.
Yeah.
That's it.
I want to
Love
see.
to see them.
I'd love to
Full
see pushing the old WWE style rivalries again.
Yeah.
I think that was so much fun because it actually, like, you have fans of drifting, and then you have now it's like a select few fans of people that support their drivers in tow. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have their favourites. When it was like a big WWE thing, there was a massive split of like people cheering that person on, in a sense. Like this, like it normally used to come in like halfway through the championship of these are the contenders that could win, and there was a big push of is this person bad and this one is this one. It used to be the big advertising part, and people used to want to come see it, kind of thing, because it used to amp up the drivers as well as the audience in that sense. So I think someone on social media side needs to just turn around and go, let's driver A, let's pin him up against driver B, and then if they get on the grid, let's make a big hoo-ha about it and on commentary and stuff like that.
That's kind of almost what we were talking about on a lot smaller level for what we wanted to do for Autofest. So what we want to do is we want to basically do battles which are predetermined, so people already know who they're battling.
Yeah.
But we're going to release a video about it for each battle,
Yeah.
and it will talk about the drivers, have pictures of the drivers, pictures of the cars, and that will literally commence them to give each other as much fun banter, and people will already know before the day who's going to be battling. So on the Sunday, it'll be there for everyone to see. So everyone who's there to watch on the Sunday at Autofest will already know that him and him are battling, and he said that about him, joking. And this whole so the rivalry's already there.
That'd be why they're throwing stuff at each other before they get in the cars, and why they're sabotaging each other.
But it's always going to be friendly, isn't it? It's going to be friendly, fun banter.
Oh, of course, and that's what it's all about. Although they do win a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite a big deal for some people, including me. I've only ever won a trophy.
Oh, you're wrong.
Am I wrong?
Bullshit.
So why did you win a trophy, Paul? I think you should bring it in and just put it up in the podcast.
I said this to you, I just keep forgetting.
You need to bring it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what else is he going to put on his mantelpiece?
I mean,
I don't have a mantelpiece. That's how little trophies are. I don't even serve a mantelpiece.
I had one trophy, and it was for a golf competition when I was a teenager, and I think I won it for turning up. I think it was a participation.
No, that's what I think they should do in drifting. Everyone should win
Just
something.
get one of those little medals with like a picture of a wheel on it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Turning
You've
up.
never seen, you know that meme of where it's that guy, he's like shaking champagne, he's biting his thing, but he's all the way down the bottom and everyone's looking at him going, why is he so happy?
I would like to see in drifting more. Oh, that's how to word it. Spectator, driver interaction. More speaking with drivers, because from what I've seen in the past few years, that spectators enjoy that.
Yeah,
really do. Doing a lot of demos, because obviously in the middle of a demo, just saying, it's a part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
They always come over when you're parked up in the pits, and they all want to talk to you. They all want to take pictures. Kids want to sit in the driver's seat of your car. It makes their day.
Last year at BHP was mental. That was like, I don't do it this year, but that was the busiest we've ever had it, I believe. Unless you guys had it busier this year.
Let's glaze over that.
Yeah, I don't even know why you mentioned that name.
Let's glaze over that. I have no problem with the show. Absolutely no problem with the show whatsoever, and I would do anything to help BHP that I possibly could. That brand BHP, I'll do anything that I could to help in any way they want.
I'm glad you will.
And that's it. That's all I'll say on that.
So anyway, people. So yeah, more interaction with people, because they absolutely love it. And I'm not talking signing signatures and all that. I've never done that in my life.
That was a hero card thing.
Yeah, I've never done that. Although
I think it's cute for kids though.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
They do it at Pro Drift. Everyone's got hero cards. Everyone's got their designated pit areas. It's a big show.
We're more open than that. More than sitting at a thing with a bit of paper, signing a bit. Sometimes you can go to, I don't know, Formula One, for example. Obviously, that's way above the scale, where they'll be sat at a desk and there's a queue of people just want something signing, where the driver doesn't even talk to them. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about actual interaction, photos with them and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more of that, and I think that goes down really well.
all real people, aren't they?
Yeah. Everyone's human. Everyone's human.
I'm not. I'm more.
Most people are human. Most people.
So I'm definitely more Ewok.
What noise do they make?
I don't know.
Don't they go something like that?
Isn't that a Wookiee?
There might be. I don't do the Star Wars stuff.
An Ewok is like
The
a
short-
furry dude with
Yeah,
little
but I
hats
don't know
on
what
and
noise
stuff.
they make. I just know one of the furry
I
guys.
don't know what noise an Ewok makes. Shame would be. You should ask him.
It's just too much busy making too much
I
noise.
should know. My granddad worked on that piece.
Of course he did. I've got a black cat. Guess what? Alfie's is blacker.
I think only pro drivers should do demos. Mine
But
is
only if.
only if they're top 5, and if they don't want to do it, you can go up to top 9, and if they don't want to do it, you can do your aunties, uncles. Yeah, mate, good idea.
Yeah. Bang on the money there, mate.
Oh, you're wrong.
The last ones I got in regards to UK.
What goes on?
What I was going to say,
Carry on,
what I was going to say is,
Carry on.
I'd love to see stages come back, and I know that there's
Stages?
like build-up stages.
Oh, stages.
Stages.
Is it stages? I was going to say. I don't know what anyone
That would have been my other one. You're on about the feeder series. Is that what you mean?
100%.
Yeah,
'Cause
that would be amazing. Feeder series would be. I'd be doing the feeder series because that's almost practice for it.
There's
When we have
and
practice.
and it will tell you as well. Then if you're at the level to start spending that kind of money, because I don't know, I'd love to go and do like a year of more amateur than the highest level.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I want to know that.
it's less serious. It'll be way less serious and way more fun.
Yeah, I don't think I'd take it any less serious.
Do you think?
I think I would go there with the intention of doing the best I could, the same as I would in Drift League.
And hope they spin.
Hope you get a bite one.
Just turning up all their.
But what I mean is, if it wasn't such a big deal, maybe it was slightly more. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's part of when it's costing people out of getting onto a grid, whereas it's
but now I think. Sorry, I interrupted you there, but I mean, with what's going on for this year, well, for 2025. Sorry, I'm saying this year, 2025. Like Gordon's made it amazing. He's opened the options, I think, to a lot more people now.
Yeah.
So I mean, pricing wise, I can't really see from what I've heard the price is going to be, and I'm not going to say because I'm not 100% sure, but from what I've been told it's going to be.
I heard it's less.
Yeah, definitely it is. But what I mean is, I don't want to go and say a number, but I don't think an amateur competition with the same amount of rounds is going to be much less money anyway. I feel like the tyre usage and stuff might be.
I think the roundabout cost.
Because it's still going to be about the same.
The thing is, the grassroots, like a basic grassroots, like say what Autofest used to be, like you're not spending the same money to get your car to spec as you are to go and do class 2.
No, definitely not.
So you're already money in your back pocket to go and do a whole season if you wanted to, the grassroots side.
And you can easily turn up with a 325 and do very well.
Yep. 100%.
Smaller tracks,
You could almost do the KD Customs thing and limit them.
Yeah.
It's all about proving yourself, not your car, not about money basically. Because that's one thing that kind of annoys me in any not just motorsport, any sport. The more money you have, the better you can do. Obviously,
doesn't necessarily, and we've seen drivers come out of some insanely expensive, very very good cars and jump in some very basic cars and show that the car's doing a lot of it for them.
Yeah, 100%.
But then you also see some people who started in shit and now got epic cars, and their driving is like holy shit.
And that is like 99% of the grid, to be fair.
Yeah, that is the steps essentially.
Yeah,
they've built their car up from bottom up as well.
Yeah, they know it inside out.
Whereas you've got someone out there with loads of money that don't really have to go to work. They probably own a couple of businesses, they've got a lot of money, just really like drifting, so they spend all their time doing seat time with their
it's a tax break, really, isn't it?
with their $100,000 build, and like I personally just don't think that's very fair. Although if she was on the other foot, I would do it. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just drive and drift all year round if you could? You just would, wouldn't you? So I don't blame people like that for doing it. I just don't think it's very fair. So by putting a cap on, say, a horsepower, I think
so hard to judge that though.
You can't really judge it.
So hard.
It is very hard, but you can see a 600 horsepower BMW because obviously
that the thing is, that's why it's good to have their tyre rule as well, because a 600 horsepower car with a 225 is going to be as fast as a 300 horsepower.
Okay, so maybe
there's a balance everywhere, isn't there?
Maybe you could police tyres easier, couldn't you?
Yeah, but you're gonna if you're gonna try and cheat with more horsepower, you're actually gonna put yourself at a deficit. So if they've got the cap on the horsepower, you're like, actually 300 horsepower, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe not the horsepower, just the
92 more horsepower I'd be able to put into the car then. If it was 300.
You were sat there that whole time thinking of maths, weren't you?
We're getting old, showing your age. That wasn't that quick. You were very quiet for a while. You didn't even interrupt me once.
Not once. Do you know how hard that was for me to sit there and not interrupt?
Because you were doing maths.
Bullshit.
I'd be considerate.
Right, should we call it there?
Have you got more?
Yeah, I got nothing else left to say. I just think
Jesus, you sure?
I'm looking forward to next year.
I think moral of the story tonight is Gordon, you're fucking doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Drift League.
Yeah.
You've listened, you've done, and we're certainly going to try our best to be there.
100%.
We're going to try our best. That's my aim for next year.
I don't
That's the
care
big
if
dread league.
even if I can do a round.
Yeah, of course. I want to do a full season. That's my aim. But I will 100% be doing a round or two because that'll be coming out my own pocket, and that's doable to me. A couple of rounds out my own pocket.
I want to do a full season, 100%.
Oh yeah, I do as well. But it's
It's
dependent.
financials. I've just started a business, so I'm a little bit like financials. It's not as good as it has been for the last year.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
We've got things in the works, so hopefully things.
Yeah,
I'd love to just be like, yeah, we're doing a full season, all paid for, all done. Let's go.
You can just plan your month to month to month to month.
I'd love it.
Done that.
Yeah, that would be. That's where I want to be.
Yeah,
but
yeah, definitely.
See what happens.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thanks for watching. Sorry you had to put up with Alfie.
Again.
Yeah, you can just skip this one.
See you back in 10 episodes.
No, you're not welcome back.